All right, great Sunday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's Cesar Mascoro Jr. with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery with our 15 minutes of mastery that we do each and every day to bring you some information, inspiration, motivation so that you can go out and attack the day. Welcome to our Sunday Recharge, episode number 523, coming to you live from our home office back home after a great week up in Tyler, Texas. Man, it's good to be home. Good, going to spend this next week here at home in San Antonio, and then it's back out on the road. But anyway, today I want to talk to you about the difference between hard work and intentional work. Sometimes we I know I remember that I would tell myself, I'm always busy. I'm always working, right? I'd go to the office. I'd go to our sales center, and as a general manager, you're doing a whole bunch of other things besides just working with the sales team. But you're always doing something. You're always involved in something, and I felt that meant that I was getting things accomplished. You're working hard. You're putting in the work. However, a few years ago, probably the last couple of years that I was there, and mainly, especially over the last couple of years now, since Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, I've come to discover what intentional work really is. And so that's why everything that I talk about, everything that I bring to you, everything that we speak to you about as a company is intentionality, purpose, right? And that's why my favorite quote, something I came up with, I don't know, man, it's probably been 15 years ago, is this down below, but I truly can say that I am living that every single day. Act with purpose and you will live in prosperity. Because like I mentioned at the beginning, we can fool ourselves into thinking that because we're always busy and you're always going to be busy, that you're getting things done, that you're being effective. But then the proof is actually in what's hitting the bank account. Let's be real. The proof is with what is actually hitting the bank account. So in other words, if you're truly making things happen, you shouldn't be struggling financially. You shouldn't just be getting by. You shouldn't, especially not in this career field, not in this industry. If you're a housing consultant, if you're a community manager, if you're involved in the sales process in some sort of way, you should not just be surviving. And if you are, if you've got those months that you struggle, or if you're in this roller coaster type of situation with your sales, I'm going to tell you something right now that's going to sting probably a little bit. You're going to probably look at me or think to yourself that I'm full of BS and that I don't know what's going on and all these other things. And you know how I know that? Because I used to say the same thing. I used to say the same thing whenever somebody brought this to my attention. You're not being intentional. You're not getting things accomplished. You're not making progress in the things that matter. Not within your business, not within your marketing, not within your sales, not within your prospecting, not within your follow up, not within pushing pipeline. All of those things play a role in what we do or don't get done. And maybe you're somebody who is doing well. Maybe you're somebody who, hey man, and well is relative, right? Well is relative to everyone. However, I will say this. Depending on your compensation plan, because not everybody's compensation plan is the same. So I'm going to base it on the amount of units. Okay. Everyone across the country, no matter what part of the country that you're in, should be funding. Whether you're in the community space, I actually think the community space should be more than this number if you have the inventory for it, right? But everyone should be funding 50 plus homes a year. I it doesn't matter on regulation. It doesn't, because it's all about volume, right? If you have the pipeline built up, you, you will you will end up putting out that many homes per year, whether you live in an area that's overly regulated or not, right? But it comes down to the amount of intentional work. Again, so I'm going to give you a description. Hard work, right? Always busy. That's the person that shows up every day and possibly already knows a little bit of what they need to get done today. And so come in, have a little bit of breakfast, or maybe they already had breakfast before they came in. Maybe they're strolling in right at start time or a little bit after, sometimes a lot after. um, and that person comes in and it takes them a little bit to get going. Um, maybe they post some ads, maybe they make a few phone calls. Just they're being pulled in different directions. Have you found yourself, you show up and maybe your manager's there and already, hopefully, and he or she calls you in, hey, let's go over a couple things. Hey, let me ask you about this, or maybe it's just chit chat. And then there you go. Hey, yeah, and you're doing these things. You're speaking about whatever it is that the conversation is about. And maybe after 20, 30 minutes, who knows, maybe 5, 10, go over to your office and you start kind of getting into that, going through files, grabbing files, looking at things. Okay. Make some phone calls, have a meeting, walk in, comes in, worked on some files a little bit more. Maybe you did some of your ads, you posted your own ads, and next thing you know, end of the day comes. And you start wondering, well, I know I did a lot of stuff, but what did I accomplish? Did I get closer? Did I move the needle today? You see, the only thing that matters, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that matters is whether or not you moved the needle today. Did you move it forward? And how I judge that, knowing what I know now from my personal experience selling, from my personal experience as a sales manager, general manager, from my experience now in traveling across the country and working with hundreds and hundreds of sales consultants and community managers and seeing different operations, the answer always is the same. Because now I've been exposed to, and it's not just in my little circle of where I worked, I've seen it across the board on so many different levels. You truly, truly need to come in every single day with the intent on setting 2 appointments a day. It starts with that. Obviously, we need to know what we're after. Obviously, we need to have clear and defined goals. Obviously, we need to know your purpose in life and what you want to do for yourself and your family. Look, I'm not speaking about that. What I'm speaking about is the intentionality behind your work. The goal every single day is 2 appointments a day, because those numbers will play out in your favor by the time you get through the next 12 months and beyond. Plus, it's a discipline that you want to build for yourself, and that discipline will help you in everything else that you've got to get done. However, going to the main theme of this conversation is, how intentional is your work? You see, all of those other things that I mentioned, from the marketing to the prospecting to the appointments to the walk-ins and things of that nature, all of those have to be intentional. You have to know specifically before you come into the office what the game plan is for the day. When you can operate in this manner, trying to fix this camera here for you, apologize. So when you operate in this manner, here's what ends up happening. You're able to get through those things, not just quickly, but you actually get things accomplished in those things, from marketing to pushing your pipeline, moving your existing pipeline forward, and prospecting, right? And when you are intentional about your work and you're going through these things and you understand, like I said, if you act with purpose, what's the purpose behind this? What's the purpose behind that? When a walk-in comes in, my purpose is simply one thing, is to be able to answer all the questions, clear up any doubts, take care of the insecurities, and help this person make the decision they want to make. That's my purpose there. What's the purpose of my marketing? My purpose of my marketing is to be able to get people to inquire, those people that are out there wanting to say yes, like I've told you before, to get their attention so that they reach out to me about what I have to offer them. That is my purpose there. And when that person does reach out to me, what is my purpose when I'm engaging that person? My purpose in engaging that person is to be able to separate myself from everyone else, to stand out, to be able to build a little bit of trust in that little communication, to where hopefully this person will trust me enough to let me speak to them on the phone, right? And that's with regards to, I'm referring to the leads that come in maybe through your social marketing, right? But of course, if you've got leads that are actually handed to you where you have a phone number already, where you have their information, the purpose of calling that person is to, again, build trust, find out what exactly they've got going on, the problem, the source of the problem that you need to be solving, and to build enough rapport and trust to be able to get them to come in to see you or set up a virtual appointment. And when I do that, the purpose of doing that is to be able to get them in the door so that now I can purposely work through the process to get them to make the decision they already wanted to make. But what about my pipeline? Hey, you mentioned pushing the pipeline. Well, what's the purpose of that? The purpose is take those deals that you have, take those files and transactions, and get them to where these people can close on their loans and move forward with ordering a home. That's the purpose of working that pipeline, not for anything else, not to just send out an email, not to just make a phone call. If you're missing certain things and you actually reach the person, how can we be intentional about that? Your intentionality lies in setting expectations, setting timelines with these people. If they're supposed to get you something, don't just leave it vague at, okay, please send it to me when you get an opportunity. No. What time will you have it to me today? I need to get this in my possession so that we can move forward with everything that you need, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, to be able to get the home that's going to help you take care of the issue you have going on right now. So what time can I expect those pay stubs today? What time will you be sending me that deed today? Will you be emailing it? Will you be bringing it by? Will it be, I don't know, if you still use fax, will you be faxing it in? How am I going to receive that? And you put a timestamp on it, and you put it, and at that point, my intention, my purpose is when I get that, I put that information in my phone. So I have an alarm to remind me that so-and-so was supposed to send me this document or documents at this time. I go and check, have I received them? If I didn't receive them, then I contact them again. But when you can do those things, now it clears up your mental bandwidth to be able to move smoother every single day. But it's knowing exactly what you're trying to get accomplished. You see, because you have a pipeline that is 15, 20 families deep, does not mean that all of those 15 to 20 are ready to close today. You will always have some that are more further along than others. And so you have to understand which ones need the attention immediately, which ones need the attention first. It's what we call working bottom of the funnel. You see, but operating in that manner, from your marketing to your calls, to your pipeline, to your training. What am I learning today? Why am I learning this? What am I lacking with that? With all of those things, plus your appointments, your walk-ins, when you do everything with intention, as opposed to just doing it to do hard work, life and business gets easier. It gets easier in the sense that it's clear. I'm not going to tell you it gets easier in the amount of work you have to put in. Okay. We are in a phase right now as a company where our growth has been tremendous. And to a certain extent, almost overwhelming when I stop to think about it. That's why this morning, as I was working through some things this morning, I was trying to lay out the next few months of what we've got going on. And at the same time, processing growth, right? Additional team members, things of that nature. But with that flow, working with intention, I see here's what happens when you work with intentionality. Your business grows. If you're a sales consultant, you're going to help more families. Now, with more families, now you've got more things to maintain, to move forward while you're still building marketing, calling, appointments, new business. See, it's the same thing with us. As we've grown and the intentionality that we've put behind the work, it's gotten us to the point we're at now. And now we've got more eyes on us, more people inquiring, plus our current clientele. And we're even in that growth mode. We're having a little bit of growing pains right now, adjusting to all these different things, because it's truly assigning responsibilities so that we can be as effective as possible. But it's all because of the intentionality. It's not about the hard work. You see, I tell you guys all the time, hey, the first 7 months had no business, had no people, anyone that wanted to move forward with us. But every single day, I was putting in anywhere between 16, 18, 20 hours a day in work. And it wasn't busy work. It was intentional work. It was building the foundation. It was building everything that we needed as a company, designing programs, creating the programs that we have for training, creating the website, building funnels, learning how to do that, actually implementing, testing and adjusting and moving things around. It wasn't just sitting here and at the same time posting on social and all of these things, right? It wasn't just busy work. It was intentional work. And then intentional work built the business. It started to garner us the business that we needed to start generating the revenue. And then in all of 24, more intentional work, more purposeful actions lead to more and more. But as you get more business and when you help more families, you're going to have more things to get done. And that's where I tell you have to be even more intentional, more purposeful. You have to be ruthless with your time. So the level of success that you have in your career, no matter what it is that you're doing, whoever's watching this, listening to this, or if you've had this shared with you, I don't care what it is that you do, the level of success in whatever it is that you do is 1000% tied to the level of intentionality behind your work, behind your efforts. Are you acting purposefully, or are you just doing busy work? See, there's no trophies for being busy. There's no success for being busy. There's nothing that comes to you that will help you accomplish your goal from just being busy. The success, the goals, the achievements, the trophies, the awards, the money, all comes from being intentional. I'll leave you one last thing. I tell my team this all the time. As you get attention, as people are paying attention to you, be intentional with that. You see, we all post to get attention. And what I mean by attention, I mean people noticing what you're doing that may have the need for your service. And so when somebody actually responds or engages, you need to be intentional with that. Take it you put in the work. Your ad or post or whatever obviously did its job. And now somebody is either liking it. They don't have to just comment. I'm talking about people who just engage with your post. They like it, they have some sort of reaction to it, or they comment. You need to now take the next purposeful step, right? What's the next step? You were purposeful in your post or in your ad. You got what you were after, a little bit of interaction, response, engagement. Now be intentional with that and actually engage that person directly, because that person may be your next client. That person may be the next family you help. That person may be the next one who maybe they can't use your service or product, or can't afford to, but they may point you in the right direction, or refer you to someone else who can. But when we just post, when we just do those things, and we see that people are liking and commenting, and we just let it be, it's not, you're stopping before the finish line. So go out and be intentional. The difference in your success is in the level of intentionality behind your actions. How intentional are you with your marketing? What homes are you trying to get rid of? What homes can you move right now? What type of buyer are you looking for? Where are you needing them? How soon do you need them to take your product? All of those things, keeping that in mind, now you can be more intentional. And then knowing that, but at the same time, you have to understand, why are you trying to do this? What is it that you are trying to get accomplished for yourself, for whatever it is, so that you can put in that work, so you don't stop. You see, when you don't know exactly what you're after, that work will never be intentional. I know what I'm after. I know what I want. I know what I want for this company. I know what I want for you. I know what I want for the general public. And when I keep that in mind, that's what helps me put in the intentional work every single day. And you can do the same thing, no matter what it is that you do. And that's what this message is all about. And I want you to go out there and do great things with intentionality, because that is the difference maker. Remember, when you act with purpose, you will live in prosperity. Go out and have a great Sunday. Take some time today, plan out your week, be intentional about it, and be intentional about every single day. All right, we got to get out of here. Got some things to get done today. Family, we got a strong, very, very intense week coming up ahead of us. And we are down the stretch, folks. We are 2.5 weeks away from launching something spectacular, just awesome. I can't even, my gosh, it takes everything I got to not spill the beans on this thing. We are 2.5 weeks from you finding out all about that. And we're super excited about this. But in the meantime, we are here to help, and we're here to serve you. So if there's anything that we can do to help take your life, your business, your career to a whole new level, please reach out to us. We are more than willing to help. You guys have a great Sunday. Go out and do great things. And as always, my friends, can't wait to meet you.